There's somebody watching me. I dream there's strange people in a room doing something to me. I wake up in another room or wearing something different. There's something outside. I look at the clock and hours have gone by, and I don't remember. Something has been happening to me.
Let's take you back to one of those nights. Focus on the crystal. You are safe. You are relaxed.
Good morning, people of Earth. From the skies to the shores and to all the ships at sea, radio-free humanity is on the air.
To some extent, who we are is defined by what we remember. Our existence is doled out in little slivers of the present moment, and we look to our memories to store all the accumulated snapshots of now. But what if our memory is full of gaps? What if we look back to scenes or particular days, or even months or years, and find nothing? We know something happened. We were at particular places, doing particular things. But although we know that things happened, we can't actually bring them to mind. And when people suspect the holes in their past were filled with frightening or sinister incidents, perhaps the subconscious mind remembers what the conscious mind does not. Coaxing those memories out of the subconscious has led to the emergence of accounts of crimes, horrific abuse, and events that challenge our beliefs and demand that whatever sort of box we try to put reality in, it always requires a bigger and more strangely shaped box. Remembering can have weighty consequences if memories equal reality, and we'll be exploring many experiences that sometimes rely on memories that were not present in the conscious mind, but had to be retrieved. So let's look at one of the methods of retrieval.
Hey, have you ever wished you could just unlock a memory? You know, something from way back in your childhood? Or what about those crime shows where a witness perfectly remembers a license plate number under hypnosis? It seems so powerful, right? I mean, at its heart, hypnosis is really just a state of super focused attention, where you're more open to suggestion. And yeah, it gets used for all sorts of things: stage shows, helping with pain, even anxiety. But today we're diving into its most controversial use, that mysterious, tricky relationship it has with our memories. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can hypnosis actually unlock your past? I mean, is it some kind of key to a locked room in your mind that holds all these lost memories? Or is something else going on here? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. Let's dig in.
Right, so the mind's locked room. This idea is just so captivating, isn't it? We see it all the time in movies and TV shows. Think about thrillers or all those crime dramas where hypnosis is like this magic wand for pulling out deep, dark secrets. It totally taps into that feeling we all have, that desire to understand the parts of ourselves that feel, just out of reach.
And look, this isn't just some Hollywood fantasy. According to clinical hypnotherapist Cornelia Taubman, it's one of the top questions she gets from clients. People really, really want to believe there's this simple way to find that one hidden memory, the one that might just explain everything. But, and this is a big but, before we can even go there, we have to get a handle on how our memory works in the first place.
Okay, so this next part is absolutely crucial. Is our memory like a perfect recording of what happened? Or is it something a lot more messy and frankly, a lot more human?
So a lot of us have this idea that our memory is like a video camera, right? Just recording everything exactly as it happens. But here's the reality check. That's a total myth. Science is pretty clear on this. Our memory is actually a reconstructive process. It's subjective, it's bendy. And get this, every single time you recall something, you're not just replaying it, you're actually rebuilding it. And that process can change the memory, sometimes a little, sometimes a whole lot. You know that old story about the blind man and the elephant? It's actually a perfect way to think about memory. You have one guy touching the tusk, thinking it's a spear. Another touches the leg and thinks it's a tree. A third feels the tail and thinks it's a rope. They're all experiencing the same thing, but they come to totally different conclusions. Well, our memories are just like that. They're fragmented, they're shaped by our own personal viewpoint, and they're definitely not the whole picture.
All right, so now that we understand that memory isn't this perfect recording, let's put hypnosis on the stand. What does the actual hard evidence say? Can it really help us remember things better? Okay, let's look at a classic study from way back in 1983. Researchers had people watch a video of a staged crime and then asked them to pick the thief out of a lineup. And the results? They were pretty shocking. The group that was hypnotized, they were actually less accurate. They were less likely to correctly identify the thief. What happened was they got hung up on all these irrelevant details, like what the person was wearing, and it just threw them off.
And here's the thing, it's not just that one study. After decades of research, the findings are incredibly consistent. Hypnosis does not have some magic power to make your memory more accurate. Sure, it might make you remember more stuff, a greater volume of details, but that often comes with a whole lot more mistakes. But the real kicker, the truly dangerous part, is that it makes people wildly confident in everything they remember, whether it's right or wrong. And that makes it almost impossible to tell fact from fiction.
And yet, despite all this evidence piling up, what do most people think? Well, it's a completely different story. A major U.S. survey found that more than half the public, we're talking 55.4%, still believes that hypnosis helps witnesses accurately remember crime details. That is a huge disconnect between what the science says and what people believe.
So, this huge gap in understanding leads us straight into the eye of the storm. The whole debate around repressed memories. You know, the idea that something so traumatic can happen that your brain just buries it, hides it away completely. And then, years later, you can somehow recover it perfectly. Is that really possible?
This whole idea, it really goes back to Sigmund Freud and psychoanalysis. The theory is basically this. Your mind has this built-in defense mechanism. When something is just too overwhelming or traumatic, your brain automatically shoves it out of your conscious awareness. Just gone. But, the theory goes, it can be brought back to the surface later on.
Now, things have gotten complicated. The term repressed memory is so controversial now that you hardly ever see it in scientific papers. Instead, you'll hear the term dissociative amnesia. It's actually in the DSM-5, which is kind of the official handbook for mental health diagnoses. But a lot of critics will tell you that it's just a new, more clinical-sounding name for the exact same unproven idea.
And yet, belief in this whole idea is still sky high. Get this, one survey found that a whopping 70% of clinical psychologists believe that repressed memories are a real thing. That's compared to just 46% of regular folks. So the idea is actually more popular with the professionals, which really shows you just how deep this concept runs.
Okay, and this is where we get to the real danger. The very same tools that are often used to try and recover these so-called memories, things like hypnosis, guided imagery, asking leading questions, well, lab studies have shown that those are the exact same techniques that can be used to implant completely false memories. We're talking vivid, detailed memories of things that absolutely never, ever happened. So, if digging for these lost memories is so full of risks, what's the alternative? Are there other ways to heal from trauma? Let's take a look. You know, a lot of modern therapies are saying, hey, maybe healing isn't about perfectly remembering the past. Maybe it's about helping your body feel safe and balanced right now. Think about it. Even if you can't remember exactly what happened, your body might still be reacting, with that knot in your stomach or that sudden jolt of anxiety. So these approaches focus on working with those physical feelings, shifting the goal from finding a why to just finding calm. And here's a really interesting example of that, a technique called clean language. The whole point is to be as non-suggestive as humanly possible. A therapist using this will literally repeat the client's exact words back to them and then ask these really simple, open questions. The goal is to help the person explore their own experience without the therapist accidentally planting ideas. It's all about honoring what's there, not trying to shape it. All right, we've looked at how memory works or doesn't work. We've seen the scientific evidence, we've waded into the debates. So it's time to deliver the final verdict. What's the conclusion on hypnosis and unlocking the past? So here are the key takeaways from our investigation. First, your memory is not a video camera. It's a creative process, constantly rebuilding the past. Second, hypnosis doesn't make memory more accurate. In fact, it can make it worse by dangerously boosting your confidence in both true and false memories. And finally, chasing after so-called repressed memories is risky. It can lead to creating memories of things that never happened. The bottom line? The idea is fascinating, for sure, but the science just isn't there to back it up. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. When it comes to healing and understanding ourselves, what's actually more important? Chasing a perfectly accurate version of the past that we might never find, or focusing on building a healthier, more balanced, and peaceful present? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.
We have another transmission from Field Team Bravo. It seems they're not out of the woods yet.
What is this place?
This it shouldn't be possible. I don't know what I'm even looking at.
Oh my God, he's alive. Dear God.
Move along, Miss, Hicks. He cannot harm us. Simply go around him. I shouldn't worry about him. One may say that he's chosen this.
Who the hell would choose this?
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to make that face? Or it would freeze that way?
Yeah, but you know that don't really happen, right?
Oh, does it not?
This place is horrible. Pix, do you really have to film everything?
Yeah, the faster we move, the faster we'll be out of here.
Could be worse. There's water and bugs.
I think I'd actually rather starve.
This is just plain damn wrong.
This is the way out. Mind the serpents.
Careful, Rio. It looks like there's lots of hungry critters around here.
Through the tunnel. Go on now.
You gotta be kidding.
Well, let's go. It's not going to get less scary if we stand here looking at it.
Thank you for joining us. Come back soon. Stay safe and God bless.
Your smile's disarming as your voice invades. I've been conquered when the battleground fades. I'm captured, enraptured. I don't count the cost. I'm glad I lost. You are mesmerizing, hypnotizing. You got a hold on me, captivating, scintillating. I don't wanna be free. Could be witchcraft, maybe a spell. Don't blame the victim, I can't tell. My fate is written, I'm smitten. I can't put up a fight, cause my mind ain't right. You are mesmerizing, hypnotizing. You got a hold on me.